What's going on, gamers? My name is Delver, and welcome to quite possibly the most procrastinated video I have ever done. Today we're going to be going over a few tips of how you can be a better guide, teacher, leader, basically for pretty much any activity that you're doing. Most of this is going to be revolving around Destiny and whatnot, but a lot of these tips can also be applied to quite a few other games. So, when it comes to being a guide, leader, teacher, and whatnot, first thing you're going to want is, first of all, you got to know what you're doing. And by that, I mean not just knowing how to be the guide, teacher, leader, or whatever. You have to know the activity that you're doing, because you're not going to be able to teach someone how to do the activity if you yourself don't know how to do the activity. Most of this is going to revolve around knowing basically like every rule that is going to be available, because a lot of times what might end up happening is that during your run of teaching a new person, you might have to teach someone else that has already also done the raid or the activity how to do a different rule than what they're normally not used to. So by knowing what you're doing, you'll effectively be a better teacher in that you'll be able to basically spot fill into wherever you're needed and be able to effectively teach the new person how to successfully get through the activity. One thing I do highly recommend is after you are done going over your explanation, always make sure to ask if the new person has any questions. Make sure that they understand everything. And then, if they understood everything, just kind of do a shorthand summary to really drive it home. The next thing you're going to want to know is know your meta. The reason you want to know your meta is because there's a very fine line between knowing what is optimal versus knowing what is accessible. Not every person is going to be a walking Smithsonian of different things they can do. So usually as you kind of go over the loadouts and go over what you're going to be doing during the encounter, it's important to understand all of the different options that are available to said person. For example, if I am doing the first encounter of the Deepstone Crypt raid from Destiny 2, Security, one of the first options I'm going to suggest for a new person to help break the coils is I'm going to ask, do you have 1,000 voices? If they're a relatively newer player, odds are likely they're not going to have it. But it's still an important thing to suggest, being it is one of the more optimal options. From there, I would go to the next optimal, and also more accessible, I would go to Xenophage. If they don't have Xenophage, you go to the next option, which I do believe is Bastion. And if you want to know like the math behind it, it's 2 shots of 1,000 voices to break the coil, 5 shots of Xenophage, 3 shots of Bastion, and if you have to go beyond that, you're basically just looking at a shotgun, or sleeper simulant, or just a regular fusion rifle in general. So again, being able to understand what is optimal versus what is accessible is important in discussing basically what your loadout is going to be for the activity. Understanding like, oh, you're on this class or this subclass, this is what you're going to want to do. Oh, you have these weapons, you don't have this is what you're going to want to do. And this can fluctuate as seasons and updates happen and things change within the game. So just keeping tabs on all of that kind of stuff compared to what you know does work will definitely help you be a better leader for your group. The third most important one, and this is the one that can kind of make or break how smooth your run is going to be, is know your fire team or your group. Now, what I mean by know your fire team slash your group is understanding what every person of your group knows what to do. For example, some people only know how to do certain roles, some people know how to do all of the roles, some people are still, maybe they are the new person that's learning. So it's important to understand what your group does know and being able to coordinate your roles accordingly between that, which also leads back to the first tip to know what you're doing. Because again, it may end up being that you'll have to teach someone that kind of knows what they're doing how to do a different role, so that way you can accommodate for the new person that is still learning how to do the activity for the first time. A small sub tip around this one is understanding that not everyone has a group that operates the exact same way. So just making sure that you're all on the same page of um, how things are going to go for the encounter, making sure everyone understands how callouts are going to go, how rotation of the encounter or the activity is going to go. So making sure just everyone is on the same page in that regard will also help you get further through your activity, and thus making it just a smoother time for everyone, and also making sure that your new person has a good time and they want to keep coming back. And this last one, which is important not so much as for everyone else, but more so important for you as the leader, is having patience. Making sure that you have patience to understand that things are going to go wrong. By keeping the level head of the group, you then can assure and assist in making sure that the rest of your group also keeps a level head and calm attitude, and you can figure out where your mistakes occurred and moving forward from fixing them. Because if you yourself start to become frustrated with what's going on, everyone else is going to start becoming frustrated. Your new person is going to start feeling bad that they think that they're the reason you guys keep messing up, and then they're not going to want to keep going on with the activity or do it again. Overall, though, the main thing to being a better raid leader, guide, teacher, or even just a leader, teacher, guide for any game that you're playing is just do it. You're only going to get better the more you do it. So if you're just starting out, maybe grab a group of friends that you know, or that um, maybe you trust them. They know what they're doing. You can just kind of like call them up and be like, "Hey, I want to work on doing this. Do you guys mind if I do this for a round or two? Maybe help me out." And then from there, you can kind of expand upon maybe going with people that you don't normally play with, up until the point where not only are you teaching one person how to do the activity for the first time, but you can feel confident in teaching more than one person at the same time. So yeah, again, kind of going back over the list, make sure you know what you're doing. You're not going to be able to teach someone if you don't know yourself what to do. Understanding the meta, understanding loadouts. Remember, there is a line between optimization versus accessibility, and understanding how far down the line you have to go. Knowing your fire team, what is everyone capable of doing, making sure everyone's on the same page as to what callouts are going to be, how the cycle is going to work out, and just all that jazz. And then just being patient. Like I said, it's unlikely that you're going to get everything the very first try, so just figure out the mistake, learn from the mistake, move on, have a good time. Because that's all it is. You're here to have a good time. You're here to help someone new and all that jazz. It's going to be a great time. But Delver, what if I'm not the raid leader or I'm not the new person learning? What do I do then? Sit down, shut up, and look pretty. I am not kidding. You are not the person teaching. Please let the teacher or leader do their job. If they ask you for a second opinion, then you can chime in and contribute. But please, I know it is a pet peeve of mine, it's a pet peeve of a lot of other people, that we are here to teach the new person. We don't need five other people chiming in, trying to override us and override our job. And I know I did sound a bit abrasive about that, but it is very annoying when stuff like that happens. So please just kind of, sit there, chill out. Again, you're there to have a good time. You're there to play with the new person, and who knows, if they do have a good time, they'll keep wanting to come back. And yeah, that's about all I got for this video. And yeah, no, I'm not kidding. I had the idea for this video right around the time this raid in the background was ran. Don't know if you caught a few of the loadout options. Yeah, no, that's all 750 power gear. So yeah, no, it's been a minute since this video idea. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Boy.